Hi guys, it's Dave with Tactical Hyve. Today we're going to talk about route setting on a map and some different considerations when doing your planning. Today's video is brought to you by DryFireMag. If you shoot a striker fire pistol, then they've solved the problem of trigger reset when doing your dry fires. Just by putting that DryFireMag in, your trigger will now reset, which allows you uninterrupted dry fire training on your trigger. We all know dry fire is important. Check that out in the description below. All right, guys, so let's talk about some pros and cons, some do's and don'ts, and things that can make your life better when navigating, right? So this map, there's a lot of different maps out there you can get. You can get it from USGS, US Government Geological Services. You can get them from forestry maps. You can get, the list goes on and on, right? I typically tend now to go to my topo. The reason I like my topo is I can set my parameters inside there. I can get a map that's customized to me. This map I have out here is an example of me and my best friend Tom Fuller when we did Sniper Adventure Challenge. So you can see we used all of this map over the course of 48 hours in the middle of that race. But what I like, some things I was able to do with this map that you can't do with just generals. One, I made it specific to where I wanted to be. I was able to put my margins the way I wanted my margins. And the really, really unique thing here is, if you notice on this map, the shading, all the dark spots are all the high grounds and low ground shading. So at night, when you're traveling under headlamp and you're tired, you're just seeing that shading like, oh, well, you're not going to misread the contour lines as easily. You know the steepness of that terrain. It just helps it stand out some, right? So a lot of guys are like, well, yeah, I've got a GPS watch. I've got a really, really badass GPS here. This one here I can download maps on, right? This is like one of the first GPSs I ever used, and that's why I still cover it with tape and all that, but it's just a general old school first gen GPS. And then on my phone, I've got apps like OnX Hunt, OnX Off-Road, OnX Backroad, iHunt 750, Garmin Explore, Garmin Connect. So there's a lot of different apps out there now we can use as well, and they're great ones. Here's the problem with doing GPSs and using just GPSs. If you don't have a map that you can navigate the terrain in, you'll go straight line. A GPS, you say, I put in this plot, and I want to go to this plot. Unless you're putting a bunch of plots in to create a route, it's going to take you straight line, the most efficient method. And look at where we're at. If I want to go to the top of that mountain up there, it may not be advantageous for me to go straight line. It may be better to walk up this ridge line and get there faster and in, better overall condition, right? So these are great tools to have, and they're really good for ensuring you can pinpoint where you are on your map. But now you got to figure out, how do I get there? So here's some considerations for when I'm doing it. And just looking at this map here, let's just say we're right here in the 8765 grid square, right? We're at this point 2-3, and we want to go over here to the 9265 grid square, and we want to go to point 2-6. I can run straight line through here. That terrain's not very bad at all. So for me to plot a route here to here and go straight line is easy. But the method of doing that is called dead reckoning, right? That's where you take an azimuth and you look at something and you move to it, and you take an azimuth and you move to it. That's very slow. It works and it's great. And at nighttime, when you have limited visibility, it's pretty much the only way you can do it if you're trying to find a specific point. But what we want to do is we want to expedite this, right? Make it expedite this. So I'm going to grab some catching features, or in this case, since there really are no big catching features, I have this big high ground here. As I'm moving to the east, you see I got this big piece of high ground I can see, and I got to move towards this high ground. I got this big piece of high ground. So I'm just going to go up in this bottom, and I'm just going to keep a generally easterly direction. And I know I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, got 4.5 clicks or kilometers to move, right? So 1,600 meters is a mile. So I've got just over 3 miles to move. Under 3 miles to move. I'm going to pick up a easterly direction. And what I'm going to do now is, as I start to travel, I'm just going to move here. I'm going to find what's called an attack point. So I want to go, we'll say we're going to 2.6, right? If I just shoot a line for it, I'll overshoot it, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this big road, because this is a well-defined road, and it's catchable. right? You can see if I drift too far left, I'm still going to hit that road. If I drift too far right, then this high ground, I'm still going to hit that road, right? So that's going to be my catching feature. And then I have this road intersection, this T intersection right here. That's key terrain. It's easy to find, easy to identify. So normally you'd be like, yeah, we'll just start heading east and go hit the road. I want to make this, I want to expedite it, right? So I want to increase my chances of knowing exactly where I'm at when I hit that road. So instead of just going east, instead, I'm going to go east by southeast. I'm purposely going to offset a little bit to the south. So when I hit this north-south running road, I know that I should have to turn north. Turning north will run me right into that intersection. So now, once I have that, all I got to do is just start counting my distance as I'm moving. And then as I cross this road, I got time and distance and pace. And then I know I'm coming into here. I just keep time, distance, and pace till I hit that catching feature. Once I get to this catching feature, now, that's where I put my protractor down. I'm at this intersection here. I want to go there. So I put my protractor down, right? I would use my straight line, or usually I use a string. I'll put dental floss or a 550 cord gun here, and you can pull that straight down. But I can read it. I'm going 95 degrees. All right. So I'm going 95 degrees for right at 1,000 meters. That's a long dead reckoning, but it's pretty easy. I also have this creek that catches me down. We're at 95 degrees for 1,000 meters. Okay. And if I overshoot this, well, I'm going to see this high ground. See that? How close those contour lines come together? So right as I start to peak at the top of that high ground is where I should start finding my spot. And worst case scenario, let's just say I get up here and we look back and forth. We've got 1,000 meters. We got to the top of that little piece of high ground and I just can't find it. Well, we'll go to this closer point then. We'll just hit this road. We'll go to this intersection and we'll just do it backwards. Right? We'll do the exact same thing, but it's called an attack point. I can move quickly, get an attack point, and then from there, refine slow azimuth distance and pace to find what I'm looking for. We're not going to get into GM angles and all that because that's just too technical for what we're doing, right? Converting our grid azimuth to a magnetic azimuth, or we're at another segment, okay? But that's the general scheme maneuver for how I'm gonna plot my route. I want to have an area I can run. I want to have an area that's going to catch me so I don't overshoot it. And the best ones are when you have a bumper to your left and a bumper to your right. So if I have low ground to my left, I have high ground to my right, and I'm just going to basically run this trail or run this draw out, that's easy. If I'm going to run a ridge line out, that's easy, right? Once you get lost, once you're like, okay, well, if you're in a technological world, once you get lost, stop where you're at, pull your GPS out, and even then use your GPS to get closer right to your point. If it's a place like this where this was a race and we're not allowed any type of electronics, so this GPS watch, none of that's allowed. That's where you have to come back. Now all I have is a map and a compass and a map and a protractor and a compass. So now I'll have to go find my last known point or go to that catching feature. I told you we had that road that goes, that's a very easy road to find. It's on top of that high ground and it's perfectly at northeast to northeast, right? And that runs right into that intersection. So I can find that point a lot easier if I get out in here. I'm not really lost. I just geographically embarrassed. All right. So that's how I would plot that. That's my considerations for how I'm going to move quickly and how I'm going to attack those points to be the most efficient and expedite my navigation, especially in a race like this. So if this is something you like and you want to see more of it, we can really dive deep into the map reading side of the house, right? But some guys can geek over it. I definitely can. If you want to see more of it and you like it, hit the like button, share it, subscribe it, and let us know what you think. Pros, cons, all right? But I appreciate you watching, and have a good day, guys.